Hey guys, today we are going to get coached by one of the best players in the world right now, and his name is RamKev. He is an MIT PhD student, but in his spare time, he got third place in the World Championship in TFT in set 4, and he is consistently one of the highest ranked players on ladder. He's essentially someone who is at the top of his craft and is respected by all the top players as well. So we are going to get his take on the new patch, do some live game coaching, and then do a review of the game afterwards. So feel free to pause and play throughout the video, because now you're able to get two perspectives on how to play the game. And if you actually do want to get better at TFT, I cannot stress this enough. I highly recommend sticking through the whole review portion after the game, because that's probably where most of the knowledge is. So let's just get right into the game. In the beginning of the game, so last patch, whenever you got like Lee Sin or like Nidalee on your bench, you'd be like super happy. Are we keeping a lot of the 3 costs that drop from these first rounds still?
There are some that I think are worth keeping. I think it just depends. I don't think Pantheon or Trundle are like as good as they were anymore. I don't think Nidalee is like worth holding on to either. I don't think she's anywhere near as good as Riven is. But I think Lee Sin is really good. I think so. Okay. That one's definitely something worth.
So it's Lee Sin and Riven then that you'd hold on to. Yeah. Okay.
Lee Sin, Riven, Yasuo.
Okay. Like really Yasuo. So here would I try to do like Nightbringers with Lee Sin or something like that, or Skirms?
I would actually prioritize this Varus and Aatrox in shop, because right now Varus is a very strong champion, and you have Redeemed here, so you can play that. This is a like pretty strong early game board, and like if you look at the items that you have right now, right, these are pretty good for Varus.
I'll be honest, I didn't even see the Redeem. There's like too much stuff on my bench. And then for the Varus builds, do you do like the crit stuff, or are you more of like the Rageblade Runons type of guy?
I think both are fine. It just depends on like what items you're finding here. If you want to play strongest forward, you could level and play the Nautilus here. That gives you some frontline to work with.
Sell the Ziggs and the Gragas.
Yeah, well, you'd have to sell like the Warwick pair, I think.
Warwick pair, okay.
Honestly, like here, you even could have played Warwick reroll if you wanted to, but I think.
Oh, with the Archangels, yeah, I want to try that. I do want to try it. But so, just actually, a quick question: Lee Sin, naked Lee Sin isn't as good as a Nautilus.
No, definitely not. Because you have to remember that Night Buff is buffing your entire team, right?
And it's damage reduction
on all units. These items are iffy.
Is it maybe like a LeBlanc game or something?
Yeah, you could go tier and play either Brand or LeBlanc. Because the cloak doesn't build into anything immediately, so that's why it's kind of hesitant. So you can hold a tier.
Would you slam right now?
Case, The issue with slamming is like none of the units on your. Actually, you could slam it on the Varus if you want, and then just hard force the move up. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so positioning wise, you can have frontline units, but I would make the Nautilus your back line.
Okay.
So like right now, basically, you want to have like the Leona plus Aatrox up front, because they're not actually good units at dealing with assassins. And you don't have to bring a unit back if you know that there's no assassin in your rotation. But like in general, like when you have one of those backline units, you want to think about like which ones are the best for that. I think Nautilus in general, if you're thinking about the Knights, hold Kled. So if you're potentially playing Brand carry,
right, you want to do the reroll Cavaliers,
Right now, like I think blue buff on LeBlanc is not that strong. Okay, this is nice. You can also think about playing Cat though. I think Cat is a lot better at using those items.
Which we have normal blue. Yeah, we could try for that.
Yeah, and then so just make sure your positioning is proper here, right? You want Leona up front and the Aatrox. I think you can have the Aatrox to the left of Leona. So like that. So the reason why you can do that is because if Aatrox dies early, then you can transfer the redeemed buff quicker.
Over to Leona. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And then I think you can try to pre-level here. So it looks like this guy's planning on playing LeBlanc. So you probably want to look towards playing Cat. Honestly, like blue buff isn't even the worst.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can
sell Lee Sin.
Yeah, you can sell Lee Sin, honestly. Yeah. It's fine to sell Lee Sin here.
So if you see someone with an IE, is that really that committed to LeBlanc? Because I thought the best items on her were like GA and blue buff.
It's normally GA Shadow Blue, but normally with an IE slam that early, there's a decent chance, yeah. And then So like the reason why I suggested you have this Nautilus in the back line, right, is because when you're up against assassins, the Nautilus can get the AoE knockup, right? Which is
Oh,
really
so if two
nice.
of them jump to the back, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
assuming chain here
Chain is probably the best thing
or
you're gonna
belt.
get. Because like chain, you can all if you're playing
This is a really interesting
uh
shop.
let me think about this for a second. Because what you could do is you could make the issue with making the Lux is you have the chain stuck on her.
Yeah.
In general, that's not too great. Probably want to
It's so
sell.
strong though, right? Okay.
It is actually you can make it. You can make it. It's just that you're gonna lose econ for it. Is and then buy the vein, and then replace Aatrox with vein. Okay, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Um, yeah, and then you can also think about holding this Jax if you want to. I don't know how you're going to do it without probably not selling the cat. You have extra Leona on bench.
Oh.
Extra Leona, and then you can, if you win, you can buy it by selling the what's
These
it
two.
called? Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, this is why in general I don't like making this Lux here.
Yeah, because if
It's
you
because
lose, you're
like
kind of
you
screwed.
lose, and it's not like she makes your board that much. Because like Lux is more like a utility unit. If the units that you're playing around that unit aren't that strong, then like there's still a chance that you can lose here. I think you might be able to win.
Ooh, that's
Okay, that's
close.
really good. That's really oh yes.
I
So
see
you could
what
have
you
bought
mean.
Jazz
Like I'm
here.
too weak. I don't have a damage dealer yet, so it's
Yeah.
just not worth it. Okay.
But you know, it worked out. I think this is definitely your strongest board, and now you can pull the Nautilus up now because
Oh, I have other units in the. I have a
you're at three
shielding.
units in the back line. Um,
Do I want to put Vayne on the bottom left, or is it not that big of a deal?
you can put her on the bottom left, but this way, like your Varus is exposed to assassins. You could have the
Okay.
Lux there, and then have Varus cornered,
Oh,
and then
so she
Vayne where
shields
your
that way.
Varus
All
is,
right, I'll do
right?
that next round.
And
Um,
then, oh, you might lose this, I think. So you're probably gonna look. Yeah, you have to look towards making econ. I would prioritize holding the cat over the LeBlanc, because cat uses these items better than her.
okay.
That's only if you lose though, but you're still gonna have to make econ regardless.
Yeah, I think sell
Um,
the Soraka
yeah, probably. Yeah, I think you
and
lose
maybe
here.
Lissandra.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, I think I wouldn't aim to play LeBlanc here though, because I think these items are not actually that great unless you're high rolling LeBlanc at the start. Um, you most likely want to play cat carry if you
Okay.
have. Yeah,
And with Cat
this
Carry,
is like.
do they run the Covens or
Yeah, you can run Coven. You can run Coven,
okay.
especially if you don't have any shadow items. Um,
And then would you replace right now, or would you kind of wait a couple of
you
turns?
can. Uh, it's definitely a lot weaker because like there's no guarantee that you get the Coven. I would hold on the Kha'Zix.
Oh shoot,
And
yeah.
then yeah, it's like it's very iffy because like your board gets significantly weaker if you decide to do that right now. You can sell the Ash for gold here. Because you're gonna move off of Varus eventually. Blue buff is like you definitely don't want to have blue buff on him.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, is this a
interesting.
potential karma game?
You could play Karma here actually. I don't think you want to play it now. It's not stronger because you don't have like good Dawnbringer units to play. Like this is still your strongest board by far, I think.
Okay, okay.
Um,
And this is a
oh,
really
you can buy.
tough game.
Actually, no, you have lists. You have lists at shop.
Oh shoot. Um,
So
yeah, we could replace that
that's
next
fine.
turn.
That's fine.
Do I want to make eco this turn, or is there too much on my bench that I want to keep?
You can sell Karma if you sell Karma plus not,
Okay,
and
and
then you can
Varus.
sell the Varus as well.
Okay.
Then you can look towards playing the cat. You do really want IE because otherwise this cat isn't going to do too much damage. Um,
So you'd
but yeah,
prioritize the IE over the GA.
yeah,
Okay. So even if this wasn't on Lux, you'd build IE in this little in the armory.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And then yeah, this is sort of why like I think you would be 10 gold richer if you hadn't made the Lux like
Yeah, for sure.
at
For
that
sure.
one turn. But it's honestly fine. It saved you like a decent amount of HP, I think. So glove here for sure. Um, and you can probably level. And I think playing Coven here is okay. You don't need to sell the Lux actually, because you can just keep her in for Mystics.
Yeah.
You get in the cat, and then yeah, this is probably your strongest board.
Okay. And
Yeah,
then
and
for
then
positioning assassins, like I've seen people put LeBlanc on the side, some put it in the center. Is there like a
okay,
general
yeah.
best one, or obviously
So
we're
here,
playing cat now, so it's a little
yeah,
different. She
the
jumps around, so
LeBlanc
does it not really matter?
the LeBlanc positioning doesn't matter here. The more important thing is where the cat is. You just want her opposite side of where you think the carries are going to be,
Okay.
because that's where she jumps to. Especially with blue buff, like here, right? You always want cat jumping opposite side of the Varus. But the other thing you also want to make sure is that you also want another unit jumping with cat, like jumping onto the side that cat is jumping towards. You
Okay,
can sell
okay.
Nautilus here.
And just one, not all the assassins to the same side. Is that what you're saying?
Well, you want a decent amount of the assassins on this
Okay.
jump. Like
So if
if
I
you
have
have
four of them,
Diana,
at least three of them.
yeah, yeah. Like if you have Diana plus like Kha'Zix or something, you want them both to be jumping left side, and you want the cat to be jumping right side so that she doesn't like solo tank aggro and die, right?
Okay.
Um, Ideally, actually, you want this Leona on the side that the cat is jumping to, opposite the side the cat is jumping on. It's the same reasoning. If you have your frontliners in a spot where like um, the other units it takes aggro first, then it's pretty good. And then the other thing is you kind of want this Lux to be opposite side, like on the same side of Cat,
Okay.
right? Because when she ults, you want her to go towards that direction. Right now, she's
Oh,
going to be
so she
ulting
ults
towards
to
the
the left side.
Morgana.
Okay. I'll change that for next turn. I was too afraid to swap and mess up the covens this time.
I think. Okay, the good news is you should win this matchup. It's kind of awkward committing to Cat though with so many Sin players in here. It's
Yeah.
like,
Is Jax not a thing?
I mean, Jax is playable.
I guess we
You can
don't have
hold
the
on to
items
it.
anymore, though.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, here's a little bit rough. So this problem could have been avoided a little bit by like some more scouting. Diana is really nice here. So if you can get that, it'd be good. If you can't, what other items do you have?
I have Negatron and Rod and Chain.
Chain. You can go for the Ivern probably.
Ivern? All right. It's not built for Morello or something like that.
I mean, you don't really need Morello,
Okay.
especially with cat carry.
Oh, is that mainly just a thing with LeBlanc carry for Morello on Morgana, for example?
Well, like even with what's she call it? Even with LeBlanc carry, you still don't need Morello. I think
Okay.
Morello is like a very secondary item. I would probably play this Ivern over the Leona already. And yeah, you just want to have the Lux same side that the cat is jumping, and make sure the cat is getting Coven buff. With cat, it's okay to frontline your frontliner, so you can move this Ivern up. I would sell this Leona and take the Rise, because if you can get Forgotten in, that's really nice.
Okay.
And ideally, right, you replace this Lux with the Rise as your Mystic.
Okay. Later on. Okay. And do we want to do like 6 Forgotten, or is it just like the Assassin spam?
No, there's no point in playing 6 Forgotten here,
Okay.
because I would sell a Kha'Zix for this. Yeah, and yeah, this is a rough spot now. I think so. In this spot, right, we sort of just committed to playing cat, but ideally, like, you would have scouted the lobby a bit more here, just to make sure that there aren't like too many Sin players. There aren't like
Yeah, there are 2 of
so
them
like,
right
yeah,
now.
there are 2 of them, right? And we sort of knew that, right? There was that guy that already slammed IE on LeBlanc, so it looked like they were going to commit to Sins, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
In another game, right, it would have been better. Also, I think it might have been better to roll at 3-2 as well, just to get some upgraded units, because right
Yeah,
now,
we're all
right,
1-star.
it's really starting to hurt you, because
Do I want to start slow rolling right now, or are we gonna like pivot out into
no, you always
Karma
want
or
to be level
something?
7. You always want to be level 7. Yeah, and there's like no chance in the world that you play LeBlanc this game. There's
Yeah.
like 0 chance. But yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. It's always when coaching, like execution's so difficult in game,
Yeah, I mean, it's fine.
because there's like too many things going on for me.
Yeah,
So I'm
I assume
assuming on
that.
4-1 I'm gonna roll down until like maybe
Yeah, you want to roll
until I
until
hit at
cat
least
2.
cat 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, if you happen to find, I mean, okay, if you happen to get a glove, and you also find
A karma.
a karma, then you can also pivot into that. But you can't if you don't get the glove because
Yeah, the IE is useless.
you're gonna have a dead IE, right? So bow here, it's probably a chalice. So you take the nocturne here, and just roll for the sins. Cat. Ivern. Okay. Get that in over the Lux. Lux. Okay.
Oh,
That's
I
fine,
had
that's
4
fine.
already. That's my bad. I didn't even realize. I thought I only had 3, and I forgot I leveled up.
Yeah, sell the Lux for Econ.
Yeah. Do
And
I want to
then
build
sell
Frozen Heart for Diana, or is it always Chalice?
You always want GA.
Okay.
And then sell the 2 Soraka's. I think you might be doing this.
Do I need
Your
the
cat is
Rises
dead.
still?
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
So the thing is, right now, I don't think your cat is gonna do enough damage without Forgotten buff.
Okay.
Okay, that's a good win.
I already have. Who's the other Forgotten? Oh, I have Viego. I forgot about that.
So I think at this point, okay, let's see. All right, so it definitely wasn't a Karma game. You actually don't need GA here. You can take the Shadow Glove and make a Shadow Hodge.
Okay, on the cat.
Yeah, on the cat. And keep on rolling until you get the cat upgrade. Okay, that's a good shot. Okay, Morg is nice. Okay, replace the Ivern with the Riven, or not with the Rise for now. This is fine. And then I think what we want to do here is you can make like a Locket, maybe Locket Spark would be decent.
Would
so you can
Spark go on Viego?
Yeah, Spark the Viego for now.
Okay. And then Locket, I'm thinking one of the Coven units, or?
Yeah, you can. I mean, one of the Coven units is a little bit difficult. You could probably Locket the Rise.
Okay.
It's probably
because he's 2-star as well. Yeah.
He's 2-star, and like positioning with Rise is a lot easier than having to work around positioning with the Coven, right?
Yeah.
So let's see.
So this game we're going for like.
This game 4. We want top 4. Yeah.
Okay.
It's definitely possible if you can manage to get this Katarina too.
Yeah.
I think what you want to do here, you have lists upgraded, right? So you can sell lists. You can sell the extra Nocturne for now. And you can sell if you win, you can actually, I think the play was not sell the Nocturne. It's fine. You just want to make Econ here. That's the most important thing.
I could sell the extra LeBlanc, right? Since
if
we're hitting here with all the other.
Yeah, but you don't need to sell it now. You don't. If you win, then it's like it's fine.
Yeah. And do I ever want to go 6-in, or is the Forgotten much better?
Oh, 6-in would be quite nice, actually.
I think I have that right now.
Yeah, I need to have 6-ins. It's just that you would have. I think you would actually have to take out.
I have to go 8 and take out Rise or something, right?
I would never take out Rise here. You can take out Coven actually.
Okay.
Rise is just too much value as a unit. Like you have 2-star Rise, you should never think about selling him here.
Okay. And then is it Shiv or like Zizirot or something?
Yeah, you go Shadow Tier. Shadow Tier is nice because you also get the additional Forgotten buff.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I could drop it on Rise.
Yeah.
Or Viego, either. Probably Rise because Viego stops attacking.
Yeah, it's probably Rise. And then you're like semi-stable here. It's just that you're carrying Cat 1. It's like the one rough part. But it's fine because, okay, let's think about what the game plan here is, right? Hold Kha'Zix, and you can sell the LeBlanc on bench just to make Econ. So the game plan should be on level. You can fit in 6 Sins by replacing this Lissandra and playing Diana plus the Kha'Zix, you get to keep in the Mystic buff, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's probably going to be your strongest board. I think you should be able to beat this guy. Yeah, so this guy has 4 cats. I don't think you're going to be able to hit cat 3 this game.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
But it's fine. It's fine. Like at this point, all you want to do is just play for top 4.
Okay.
Which I think you're in a good spot to do now. Like
yeah, for some
the
reason
fact that
we
you
won
hit
the
this
past couple of rounds without cat 2.
Yeah. I mean, these are very, very good cat items. It's like you just, even if you don't have GA, like these are like really good cat items. And the fact that you have Diego plus the rise is like,
yeah, you normally don't
that's
get
like
this at level 7.
Yeah. This is why, you play around what you get. And like, the rise is definitely a very strong unit, I think. And then, next level, basically you get 6, I think 6 Sin is like a very, very strong buff. Yeah, and then here, like in these rounds, obviously it's kind of hard to do it while you're getting coached, but like typically what you want to do is you just want to scout around and make sure your cat is jumping on the proper side.
That's true.
Yeah. Oh yeah, look, this is like 1-star cat, and she's still one tapping all of the.
Yeah, that is carries, actually kind of crazy. Out of curiosity, in like a more difficult lobby, because right now we're at like your account's like what, like 1,000 LP higher. Would we be able to like win streak like this? With this board?
You'd probably need cat 2, but yeah, if you have cat 2 with this board, this is definitely a win streak board.
Okay.
Like this is like these synergies with these items, like these are almost the perfect cat items.
Okay.
If you had like, I think it's debatable whether or not you have GA versus blue buff on cat. But Shadow Hodge is definitely like a really nice item to have on her. And like you also have the IE. Once you get in 6 Sins, I think like your board is going to be very, very strong. Okay, so you can sell for Econ here with the Ivern.
Oh yeah,
because you're probably not going to play in that next level. And then here, if you want to, you can just level and play the 6 Sins just to keep streak, and then you can roll a little bit to try to hit cat 2. I would suggest. So over the Lysandra, yeah, just roll a little bit.
Oh, nice.
Okay, that's nice. Okay, so at this point, right, you only have one thing to do. You don't have to worry about Coven positioning anymore, right? First thing I would suggest, Jewel Gauntlet on the Viego. Yep. And then if you win, you can sell the Lysandra. I think it's okay to hold on to Kha'Zix's pair.
Okay. Oh, dang, I got the wrong side.
Yeah, it's probably fine. We'll see.
Ooh,
okay, yeah, it's definitely fine, actually. Yeah, so this is nice. This is nice. I think you can definitely top 4 this lobby.
Yeah. And then is a plan now trying to go 9 because it's hopeless to get cat 3-star and we already have everything upgraded?
Yeah. So I think at this point you do kind of want to go 9.
Like how important is this Morgana and Diana upgrade?
I think the Diana upgrade is substantial. But right now, if you do roll, you're not rolling for much. I would definitely, once you find the Diana pair, you can think about it. Also, I think I would try to position. Well, I don't know who you've played recently, but I would try to have the cat on the right side because it looks like the scariest backline carry you see right now is probably that Varus, right?
Yeah, and we haven't faced the Varus in a while.
Yeah, and so right here, especially with cat carry, you want to have the Diana jumping to the opposite side of where your cat is initially jumping.
Yeah, because that's where the carries are going to be.
Right, that's where the carries are going to be, and you really want that disruption because if you can get the ult off, it means it keeps your cat safe. I think you're probably not going to push for level 9 here.
Okay.
I think this is probably the board you're going to have to stick with for a while, but you can sort of greed your gold for now.
Okay. So you wouldn't roll down to like 30 here, for example.
I would even try to have your Diana getting this locket value. I think the more getting it is very not. It's like
non. Cares?
Yeah. So this is the kind of positioning you want, right? You want.
And I want Viego
your disruption
opposite side too because he's got the Ion.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you want your disruption on the opposite side of like where you're. Like for cat, you want the disruption on the opposite side of where your cat is jumping. You might even be able to win this matchup without GA. I think cat Okay, never mind. You might get one shot here actually.
Yeah.
Depending on the positioning here, you can actually win this matchup a lot of the times. But it's just rough here.
Yeah.
So you're definitely gonna have to roll down, I think.
Okay.
But it's top 6, which is
I mean, we didn't hit Cat 2 for till like 5-1, so it's like we can't really do too much there.
Yeah, like this is a fine spot to be in, honestly. Okay, and then items here.
Proud.
I like the Chalice. I think Chalice is good because you
Okay.
kind of want more damage on this cat. You could also go the Shadow Jewel, but like it's on a 1-cost unit, so it's not ideal.
Okay.
And then
how come not Shroud? Because I thought like during stage 5, it's always like one of the best items.
Yeah, Shroud is definitely good. It's definitely good. It's like
just because our cat is so far behind, we need the
yeah. I think you
Chalice
might want to have this Chalice here, and you can put it on the Rise, and then have this cat where the Nocturne is. Oh, Volibear. You can hold on to Volibear just because. And then yeah, let's try to get the Morg upgrade and the what's the other one? Diana. Oh yeah, and then yeah, the Diana. And like here you could have held on to the extra sins. I would have held on to the extra sins just in case, like the Nocturne here. You don't need to roll over those. You could potentially hold on to them because it's like it's not like you're rolling for much else, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Like just in case. Yeah, I'm a boomer. I can't roll fast.
Oh, no. So you popped Viego, or what's this? Not Viego. It's okay, that's fine. You probably lose this.
Yeah, Diana's not going off fast enough.
But honestly, this is a fine. Like I think getting 6th here isn't the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, the early game was really confusing.
Mm-hmm.
Me at least. I'm just gonna try to. Oh, nice.
Okay, that's nice. Yeah, and then at this point you can probably sell Volibear and hopefully try to hit maybe try to hit Viego because you can sell the Kha'Zix. But yeah, positioning is probably more important. So just make sure your cat is jumping opposite side of the carries. I think against the Karma player, you want to be jumping right side. And against Set, it doesn't really matter too much.
Oh, it doesn't matter for Set? Okay.
Yeah. Because
he's
Set
a
is a
tank, so it
frontline
doesn't
unit,
really
right?
count.
It's
Yeah.
like, okay. And like here, obviously, it's, you got Shroud, but it's like not that big of a deal. As long as Diana goes off, you have a chance here. Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
Okay, that's huge. You might be able to pull off a top 5 with that win.
Yeah.
As long as this Aphelios player dies to like the LeBlanc or something.
We might face him because I faced him early in stage 5, so I should probably just position around him, right?
Yeah. Okay, so you have Last Whisper. This is always going to go on your Nocturne.
Okay.
Actually, that's not true. That's not true. I think Nocturne, you don't have Revenant. And he's not 3-starred anyways. Can you check the damage chart maybe?
Oh, too late.
Actually, it's
it was literally just Cat and no one else.
Then I think you probably want to have this on Diana just for faster cast. And then just use all your extra gold to try to hit Viego too. If you can okay, never mind. Okay, that's huge. So you have nothing to roll for here.
Why not Viego though? Because wouldn't that make
here you can have it on Viego.
Okay.
I was just thinking sometimes Viego is probably not going to be able to live long enough, but at this point, yeah, it's probably Viego. Okay, quick thing, where your LeBlanc is right now, can we take a look? Put her in between the Viego and the Diana, like second row. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's one guy that has Syndra. Syndra is the one. So for Syndra, oh snap. Yeah, I think you're dead here.
Yeah,
actually 2-unit loss. Okay, that's fine.
No, it's close. Maybe this guy takes a huge hit.
No. It's fine.
Yeah. I don't really care too much about it. Oh no.
It's yeah. Like 6th place is better than 8th. Honestly. So I think
because we didn't hit in the mid game, it's like pretty bad, and everyone else got 3-star.
Yeah. Also, like definitely learning a new comp while getting coached is definitely
not ideal. Not
ideal. But I think there's stuff to learn from this. First thing, obviously, like the Sin players ended up pivoting off, right? I see there's only one left, so I think that Karma player might have been the one that was playing LeBlanc as
Okay.
earlier on. So there, without Varus 2, without like other upgraded knights, um, it's definitely not worth losing Econ to hold the Lux because she's actually not going to help you win streak that much. And that's my bad for like thinking that you might be able to do it, but like, yeah, like in hindsight, definitely, it's not something that you should go for.
Okay. If we had like
So
Varus, if we had Varus 2, would you be more inclined to take a Lux?
even there, like Varus 2, the issue with taking the Lux there, one, you get the chain stuck on her, right?
Yeah.
And you almost never want to have the chain stuck on her.
Yeah.
Because
Sure.
that means you're gonna have to sell her eventually, which means you've just wasted like one extra gold. It's potentially fine, but the other thing to keep in mind there is that you had blue buff slammed already, right? Which means that if you have the blue buff slammed, you're never gonna stick with playing Varus, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
So like holding on to the units that you would play around Varus when you're not planning on playing Varus later anymore is like it's gonna cost you a lot of gold. So like ideally, right, in those types of situations, you know, you're like 10 gold higher, you can feel good about rolling down at 3-2 without having to sack too much of your econ, right?
Okay.
But the
I see
Lux,
what you mean. Yeah, because Lux is
yeah.
just not in the final comp. If this was like a Morgana, like I could probably make it. But
Yeah, you could potentially make them work, but with Lux, like obviously Lux synergizes very well with your team, right? But it's not like hitting a Riven, right? If you hit Riven too, almost always you just play it, right?
yeah,
Because Riven is able to kill units and she's able to carry the fight. But Lux is not the same way, right? You
yeah,
hit the Lux too, you might win some fights, but you're gonna lose some fights as well, right? So you can't even streak with it. The only thing that's really gonna do there is just kind of like ruin your econ for a couple rounds, right?
yeah, yeah,
So it's a matter of knowing what units are able to help you streak and what units aren't, right? Because in general, right, there's like a balance, right? Obviously, the playing the Lux there is definitely like your quote unquote strongest board, right? But at the same time, it's not like it makes your board that strong. And
mm.
in that sense, like you have a lot more things that you want to have the gold in the future to hit. So that's like I think that's like the biggest part of this game is like making or not making that Lux.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then yeah,
And then
other than
did
that,
we commit
yeah,
too hard to the cat comp?
yeah, it's a committed a little bit too hard. I think can I watch back to see at what point you slam the IE? So I think the play here instead, yeah, and this is my bad as well. Like I should have been paying attention a little bit more. Is like, you know, you do have cat units. What you could do here, and I think this is pretty important to do in the current meta. You sell like what you're not going to play, and you roll down 3-2 to see what you can find. Because if you take glove, you still have the chance to play like Hecarim plus Brand.
Yeah,
I think taking the glove is the proper move here. I think the only thing is that after you took the glove
level up and roll to 10 or
and
something.
leveled, you didn't roll down too much. Yeah. So
Okay.
like if you like at this point you can level roll down and kind of see what you get. The other thing that you could have done, and I didn't really mention this too much because I feel like it would have been a little bit too much to process, was you can also play Yasuo from the spot.
Oh yeah,
So
I have seen some blue buff.
if you have blue buff jewel like blue buff Hurricane Yasuo, like you would have had really nice Yasuo items with the bow here, right?
Yeah,
Because like blue buff Yasuo is actually quite good, I think.
yeah, I've seen it a couple times before.
Uh,
Out of curiosity,
mhm.
so you're saying like we should for sure roll here. Are there
Yeah,
any like what's a major indicator for that? Because normally when I'm like 92 health and I'm not on a win streak, I'm like, oh, let me just chill till I get to level 7 or something like that, and then roll at that time.
yeah. So I think the indicator should be like you should be able to judge how strong your board is. I think so. Like let's say move up a little bit
Yeah.
in this just like a, once this round is over, right? What does the board end up looking like, right? Because obviously at this point, right, you have the units to play cat and you have the items to play cat. So it's fine to slam the items and just commit, but there's an issue, right, if you don't hit. So especially when you don't have the items completed, rolling at 6 is actually quite good because it actually gives you a lot of direction. So if you hold on to the units that you're finding at level 6, and let's say you get like upgraded Bran, or you get upgraded Yasuo, or you get upgraded like Cat, right?
Yeah.
Then you can slam the items depending on what carry you find, versus like at this point, right, you have 0 upgraded units besides this Lux, who is not going to help you win rounds, right?
And we're locked in.
And you're locked in, right? So if you roll a little bit and you hopefully find 1 or 2 upgraded units, either like a brand, maybe you find LeBlanc, but you're probably not going to play LeBlanc this game. But just holding the good carry units, so like Brand, LeBlanc, Cat, Yasuo, right? Riven is also okay. It's just that she doesn't use the blue buff as well.
Okay.
But Riven is definitely fine because you can make the IE, right? And then you can just put this blue buff somewhere else. Rolling definitely gives you a bit of direction to go with. The only issue is that you're actually pretty poor at this point in the game, right? You have like 28 gold.
Yeah.
But if you have more gold, you manage the econ a little bit better. Then you can definitely roll until like maybe you're 20 gold, even 10 gold sometimes if you think it'll help you streak. Because like, they just increased the 3 cost odds at level 6, right? And they increased the 2 cost odds. There's like a lot more value in terms of rolling at this spot in the game.
Okay, so like pretty much at the points in the last patch where I might consider rolling at 6, it's like for sure roll at 6 whenever I feel like that now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think especially if you're losing the early game. Like if you're losing, you have to roll at 6. If you're like in this spot, like you should evaluate like where are my carries, right? Like if your cat is your carry and the units that you're playing around your carry are not strong, and if your carry isn't like upgraded, right, it's definitely worth thinking about rolling a little bit. Because you could have hit Kha'Zix's pair, and I think Kha'Zix already would have been better than it definitely would have been better than Leona. Right.
Yeah, she's
So
kind of
like
just chilling there doing nothing. Yeah.
mm-hmm. So like, you have a kind of dead unit on the board here. You don't have too much of the other sins going for you. In that case, it's definitely worth rolling a little bit, right? And hopefully, we can go over positioning if you want. I think the positioning for Cat is like relatively self-explanatory, especially with blue buff.
You just swap side based on whatever you're scouting.
Yeah, you just need to swap sides. Because blue buff Cat, what she does is she insta cast.
Yeah.
So the moment she jumps, she just throws her dagger. So as long as your cat is opposite corner from where their carry is, that's where she's gonna hit. And if you have like 3-star cat with IE blue buff, right, she's almost always just gonna one shot the carry.
Oh, one other question. At the point we were at before, should I have slammed Locket right away on 3 or 2, 3?
Here, I think slamming Locket probably would be decent. It would,
Okay.
yeah.
Obviously, like we already talked about the misplay before of not rolling, but like since we
Yeah. Definitely. Like if you've committed to sins, you can definitely slam Locket there.
Okay.
But yeah, I think like the early game here was perfectly fine. I think.
Okay. Oh wait, I skipped a stage by accident. I was like, wait, I thought we lost those rounds. I went to stage 2 instead of stage 3.
Yeah. So like, yeah, that's the thing. It was like if you had 1, 2, 5, then it would have also would have been in a lot better of a spot, I think. The only issue is that sometimes you just can't, right? With the board that you have and the units you're playing, you can like kind of assess that, right? You say like, yeah, my units just aren't strong enough, and I don't think I can roll. So like, it's sometimes better to prioritize econ depending on what units you can sell. Obviously, if you have some important pairs, then you probably can't. But that's sort of like you have to kind of assess what's an important pair, right? Like if you have 0 upgraded frontline, you can hold frontline units, right? As pairs. But if you have an upgraded frontline unit and you're holding an extra one, then you can just sell it off, right?
Yeah.
And then just the cat comp in general. why did I tell you to play Rise over
Oh
like
yeah, like
Ivern,
Coven.
for example, right? It's like Rise is already semi frontline just because of how much utility he has. And in general, when you're playing cat carry, you want to have some kind of forgotten buff in,
Oh, okay,
because
okay. What
it's
if I didn't have
especially.
Viego here?
Oh, if you didn't have it would have been a lot harder actually. I
Because this is
think.
like a very rare scenario where I get
Yeah, yeah,
Viego, right? So let's say
yeah.
I had the same exact situation with the Rise 2, but with no Viego,
Mhm.
would you still play him?
Yeah, I would probably still try to play the Rise 2. I think like if you hit Rise 2 and you're playing Cat, it's kind of like obviously if you're playing LeBlanc, you definitely shouldn't think about it. But when you have a unit like Cat that synergizes really well with Rise, I would even consider like just dropping the Coven buff here. And then you can play 4 Assassins plus Forgotten with like
Oh,
a
okay. Like play
fresh
a
or something.
Hecarim or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Coven is what, 60%?
I think so.
Or it's like 60 extra AD.
Yeah.
Um, but the thing is, and it's definitely more than what Forgotten, like 3-star Forgotten, or
Yeah, the
3 unit
Lysandra is
Forgotten
not a
would give
unit.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lysandra is not a unit, whereas Rise 2 is definitely a unit, right? And he's gonna benefit from the Forgotten buff as well. So in those cases, it's a lot better to have the Rise. The thing is, depending on whether or not you're playing Cat or Rise, you definitely have to think about what units you want to play around it. Um,
So you never
I
do
think,
like the 3 Revenant stuff whenever you're playing with Cat Carry. Whereas with LeBlanc,
yeah, I
you
generally would
that's one thing that you
avoid
do
it.
go for.
Yeah, like
Okay.
you can like, especially if you've hit 3. If you're playing Katarina, and this is the other thing I noticed when you're rolling down at level 8, you were selling the Nocturnes, whereas there I think it's okay to hold on to the Nocturnes because you're probably not going level 9 anyways.
Okay.
But yeah, if you're rolling for Cat, she's a 3-cost unit. You're probably gonna be holding on to Nocturnes as well. If you get 3-star Nocturne, you don't have to play 6 Sins. You can potentially play the Revenants instead, right? Like if you don't, obviously, if you have 6 Sins, then you probably play it. But there's no guarantee that you find Viego, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
I still think Cat is really strong, but you kind of have to find her early. I mean, you found her relatively early,
Yeah,
but
but
then you just want to like
should I
play a
have rolled
board
to
around
0
that.
at
Like I
this
think,
point over here? Because like we're still Cat 1 at this point. We did win these 2
yeah,
rounds, but
I think you don't need to, just because this board is still really strong.
okay.
Essentially, what you're doing if you roll here is you're rolling for like 1 unit, right?
Yeah.
You're rolling for the Cat upgrade, and Morgana is also an upgrade, but like it's not really an upgrade that matters too much. And like here, it's a lot more value to push 8 because you can't play 6 Sins plus the Forgotten plus the Mystics without it, right?
Yeah.
If you wanted to, you could roll and just take out the Morgana and play 6 Sins plus Rise and just not have Mystics at all. And that's also perfectly fine. I think that's another option. But I think the thing is, like, if you roll now, um, you're probably never going to get Viego 2. You're also never going to hit Cat. So it's a lot better just to level to 8 and roll, because the level 8 odds of hitting a 3-cost are the same as the level 7 odds, right?
Yeah.
It's just that you get to play a stronger board, and you're also like you're never gonna go for Cat 3. Like in situations where you think you can get the 3-star with the 3-cost, I actually think it's better to roll at level 7, because you're probably gonna need all of that gold just to hit the 3-star, right?
Yeah,
But
I
in the
agree.
cases where you're not going for the 3-star, right, then it's like, okay, it's whatever. I'll level and I'll play the strongest board, because that's gonna guarantee that at least I don't go 8th, right?
Yeah. Yeah, this game was like it was super weird for me. I
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
would
I
have
mean,
like not navigated like
there's a
that.
lot. There's a lot to take in, and
Yeah. This wasn't one of those easy like, oh, you just do this and the
mhm, mhm.
game's like plays itself or something like
Yeah.
that.
And I think like cat carry is definitely not something that most people are used to. I think most people don't try to play cat carry. Like, there's definitely a lot to learn from this game, though. Like how to
Yeah.
manage the econ, right? Like what units are worth holding on to versus the ones that aren't. I think you always want to, when you're managing econ, you always kind of want to prioritize, make sure that you have enough gold to hit the important units, right?
Yeah.
Like, if I'm playing Draconic and I'm low rolling, right? Is it worth it to hold on to the extra Ashes and Zyras before I'm even like close to hitting set 3? Probably not, right? Because you want to prioritize all of that gold to go into set 3. If you end up wasting a lot of gold holding on to Ashes and Zyras, all that's gonna do is like mean you're never gonna level, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a similar thing with like, if I'm playing LeBlanc, it doesn't really make sense for me to go for Morgana 3 because she's just a synergy bot, right? Unless I have like Assassin Spad Morgana,
Like it doesn't help
it's
you at all.
usually not worth it, right? And so it's like a matter of knowing when it's good to 3-star units, when it's good to hold even 2-star units. Sometimes it's just not worth it to 2-star some units until later on, right? When you can get them upgraded. It's like a balance, right? You wanna be able to assess when your board is strong and when it isn't. There are like two ends of the spectrums. Either you're just holding everything on bench and you're like wasting a bunch of gold on units that you're never gonna end up playing, or you're playing a really weak board, right? And you can't do anything in the later games. Like you're just gonna bleed out all your health, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the main takeaways that game is that, and then like just doing your 3-2 roll down.
Yeah.
I think
scouting.
yeah, and scouting. Yeah, but like I think it's good to do the roll down just because you can get some direction, right?
Yeah.
When you don't already have the units that you're gonna play, right? Like sometimes you'll just get a brand 2, like in like round 2, 3 or something, right? And then you can be like, okay, I'm just gonna play brand, right? I'll play brand carry. But sometimes that doesn't happen. And so usually it's like beneficial to not slam all of your items immediately. Like obviously slamming items is definitely going to help you streak, but eventually if you slam bad items for the comp you want to play, you're just going to lose, right?
Yeah.
So like it's good when you don't have that direction yet to say like, let me do my roll down first, then I can slam my items, right? Because otherwise you might be stuck playing a certain comp that you don't already have the units for, right? So here, right, you could have bought the Yasuo and Lee Sin, and then done a roll down, hold the important 3-cost units. If you happen to find Cat 2, then you can play Cat. If you happen to find Yasuo, you play Yasuo. If you happen to find like, Brand, you can play Brand, right? So like, then you can kind of like tailor your items to whatever units you hit. I think like, if you're trying to play flexibly, that's definitely like one of the big things that you can do is just know what units you can play around the current items you have slammed, and then slam your next items based off of the units that you hit.
Okay. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. I definitely need to practice that a lot more. I'm not really like used to rolling on 3-2 because
yeah. I mean, like, I definitely think it's.
I know there's a lot of
You're
value
gonna see
to
a
it. I
lot
just
more.
never do it for some reason. Like when I'm actually in the game.
I mean, like, obviously, rolling at 3-2 was not the greatest last patch because everybody just wanted to push 7, right, and roll down your gold and try to hit a
For
4-cost unit.
Vel'Koz
Yeah, and like this patch is very different, but like the same rules kind of apply. It's just that like the earlier the roll down period is in the game state, the more flexible you can kind of be in terms of like what you're playing, because at that point in the game you haven't already committed all of your items, right?
Yeah.
And the 4-1 roll down meta is like, I already committed Trojan Jewel Gauntlet, I'm just playing Vel'Koz. It doesn't matter what else I hit, I'm just playing. Like,
yeah. And if you don't hit, like, who cares?
Right?
You'll hit it all the other games.
Yeah. But like at a point like this, right? I have tier, glove, rod, VF. I could make Shojin Jewel Gauntlet, but what if I get Riven 2, right? And it's a lot more realistic in the 3-2 roll down, right? If I hit Riven 2, I'll just make IE instead, right? I get IE like
plenty of time.
It's nice though to have like direction. Like obviously having the cat, like if you roll down here and you just buy all of the 3-cost units, it might be like a bit too much. if you have like two comps instead of one comp in mind when you're doing the roll down, and you hit one instead of the other, then you can kind of like it's like more probability, right? More probability that you hit a strong comp.
Yeah. All right. Thanks so much, man.
All right, awesome.
Oh, if you want to give yourself like a shout out or something.
Oh yeah, you can check me out at twitch.tv/RamKevTFT. I stream semi regularly. I'm doing a little bit less because I found that like I climb a lot more when I'm playing off stream, but I'm definitely gonna be streaming soon. So you
And
can
then I'll
follow
leave
me
your
on.
coaching info in the description and
Yeah,
stuff as well.
yeah. You can, if you want coaching, you can send me a message on Discord. That's the other thing.
All right, yeah,
All
sounds
right,
good. Thanks so much, man.
awesome. Yeah, hopefully this is useful.